Hi, everybody. Welcome to Game Prod Pod. This is episode 12. Tash is sadly missing in action. She's at some kind of bodybuilding competition, we think. Myself and Luke, we're going to be talking about stick or twist, when to pursue something to the bitter end and when to bin it off and do something else instead. We're going to be talking about how to be a good project manager or product manager.
Product manager, product owner, producer. They overlap a bit.
They overlap. They're the same thing, really. And a funny segue into a funny segue into interesting interview stories, and that is our show. Tune in. The sea is a cruel mistress, and no mistake. I'm going to Santander, the place, not the bank.
Okay, that's like okay. You're going to the bank. Great, Matt. Thanks. Don't care.
Well, off to the bank. Let's just off to Barclays.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Barclays today. I'm not going to go to Santander. Barclays.
Yeah. Barclays. Yeah. I'm just visiting Monzo. I'll be right back. I'm going to Santander, and there's a beach about a 5-minute walk from the hotel where I'm staying. Okay. And I will go for a swim, although open water is not my natural habitat.
But it'd be a lot warmer. Be a hell of a lot warmer.
I'm going to go. It's going to be warmer. I'm going to go during the day. I'm going to go when there's a lifeguard on. I'm going to wear my floaties.
Yeah, armbands. Yeah, wear some armbands. Yeah, and a wetsuit. Yeah.
I'm going to have
yellow
a GPS
speedos.
tracker.
Yeah,
I'm just flashing.
Yeah. Yeah. And a kite at the top.
Yeah.
Just in case you get lost.
Safety first, as far as the ocean is concerned. Stay safe.
Yeah, I was tempted to do an ocean triathlon, but I realised that I wasn't good enough. I was getting pretty.
Triathlon.
So there's like you do swim, bike, run is what a triathlon is, but you can do the swim in the sea. Like there's one they do like they do it on different coast towns and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas the triathlons I've done have been lakes and
Tell me more about that. You've done how many triathlons have you done?
No, not many, like 3. And I did a lot of duathlons, which is in Richmond Park, which is run, bike, run. I did that a lot. I did that as like a warm up to the triathlons. That was good. That was good fun. Back when I was fit. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Run, bike, run sounds like Run Spot Run, but it's a bike rather than a small dog.
It sounds like that song, but can't remember. There's a song that just goes run, run, run. Yes, I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link. That's a good.
Not the one that goes to do run, run, run.
No, that's what I realised I sounded like as I was saying it. I'm like, hang on, run, run. Yeah, the run boy. That's it. Run boy, run. That's the one.
Oh right, no, doesn't ring that.
That one.
And
so you're going to Santander? You're going swimming?
Did I? I thought I'd finish that story.
Kind of, yeah. So you're going there for a holiday and doing some swimming in the ocean.
Working.
Oh wow, awesome!
I
All
know.
Paid expenses.
Yeah.
I like it. So you're getting paid to swim in the sea.
I'm getting paid to work. I'm going to swim in the sea in my own time.
Yeah, nice.
It's very much so. I think they're taking a 90-minute lunch.
Okay.
We're running a workshop, and they're going to take like a 90-minute lunch break. So I'm like, do I have time to nip for a swim?
Yeah, I like that. Come back dripping wet. Right, guys, what are we talking about? It's ready for a brainstorm. Who's got some ideas? Matt, can you grab a towel? Why are you in your shorts? Can you get a top on, please? Why is he so damp? Yeah, please put a top on. Please. Yeah.
Nobody needs to see that.
No one wants to see that, Matt. Not this time of day.
Tash is away.
She is. Just the two of us.
It is just the two of
us building castles in the sky.
Tash is away at a competition.
She's lifting weights and stuff.
She's at a weightlifting competition, I believe.
Yeah, she lifts weights and grunts.
I think that is her job title, isn't it? That's just,
yes.
Weights and grunts.
So if she ever offers like, oh, do you want to do a workout with me? Just say, oh, I'm busy that day. I'm really sorry, Tash, because I reckon she'd really put you to your paces. And
I don't doubt it, man. She's incredibly strong.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just me and thee, because Tash is away at a weightlifting competition. Mm-hmm. Tash, if you're listening, we are saying weightlifting deliberately, and also I hope that you will.
Yes, please don't hurt us. Bodybuilding, right? It's bodybuilding, Matt. That's the one that really winds her
right.
up.
It's bodybuilding. Yeah, like Arnold Schwarzenegger used to do, I think.
Yeah,
is that the kind of thing?
It's just for vanity, isn't it? That's what it's
just showing off. So we're going to do a fairly short form episode today, and Luke
and riff.
Yeah, but you had a topic that you pitched a couple of weeks ago. Oh yes. God, have you forgotten it?
Well, I forget many things. But yeah, remind me, and then I'll go, oh yeah, it's a great one.
You wanted to discuss like when to, what is the right time to capitulate? What is the right time to give up versus what is the right time to keep going, even if you're not sure? So that was the topic that you pitched. But
so it's something I talk about in interviews a lot, and the more I talk about it, the more I realize that I want to talk about it more. So, but in an interview, you can't really go into too much detail because I've got to cover all my sort of experience and stuff like that. But I thought it'd be a good sort of topic to talk about here. So, I've worked for EA in the past, where we had the Kinect before it came out, and we were in a sort of locked door NDA. You can't come in the room unless you're on the list. Your name's not down. You're not coming in. And we weren't given any very specific instructions on what to do with this Kinect device, and we were just told, find a way to make a Harry Potter game out of this. All we knew about the Kinect is about gestures, about movements and stuff like that. And I learned something from a really talented programmer then that really stuck with me. He was working back and forth, trying things out and getting us to play test it and stuff. Again, in the closed door policy, mainly engineering led, but a couple of us, I was obviously the producer, a couple of us were like playing it as well and giving feedback and going through things. We'd have sit down demos together and stand up demos because it's Kinect, and just go through what the device can do, what it can't do. And some of it was really crude, like you'd stand up and you'd be doing this with your hands to see what it does, and we'd try things out. And from there we learned that sometimes you could spend like 2 weeks on something or a week on something to realize that it's crap. It's not fun, but it was technically good, but you've spent 2 weeks on it. Now stop that and move on to something else. This particular programmer went sort of to the extreme of that, whereas he created a whole prototype of a sort of gameplay scenario going from a linear path using the Kinect movements and stuff like that to kind of prove what we could do and how we could do it. And then we presented it to EPs and other producers and stuff. But he was very, very firm on one point. He said, if you like this, that's great, but I'm going to throw it all away and I'm going to do it properly. Because he created it in a way where it's very much a throwaway prototype to get that proof out there, to prove that this is the right direction, rather than over-engineering the sort of the back end and the front end and the way it hooks up together and how you can expand it and yada, yada, localize it. He just did it in a very crude way to get the point across, to get people to play it, to understand it. If you went off the rails, it'd probably fall apart, it'd probably crash, you'd have issues. But he designed it and sort of developed it in a way where you'd play test it, like it, get a feel of it and say, yeah, I want more of that. Or hang on, this is way off piece. We need to go somewhere else. And it really left something with me. And it was a really good way of looking at things, that produce something to prove it. Literally a proof of concept. I know it's cliche to say proof of concept, but this is the most proof of concept I've ever seen from a very talented engineer. And then I took that mindset to another company called Aruga, where we were working on Facebook games and Facebook apps, and we were using analytics from real customers that were sort of downstairs in the canteen. We were working in a building, luckily, that was shared by IBM and a bunch of other companies. So we would go in the canteen with a load of laptops and computers and say, hey, do you want to play a demo? And we get them to play the demo. So real people, we're sort of getting them to fill out a form and stuff. But the real nuggets, the real information was me sitting at the back, just taking notes on what they do that they don't talk about. Like people just hovering over the mouse and going, where do I click? And they don't know where to click. Or maybe they move left, right, left, right, left, right, and then stop at a doorway and like just freeze. But then when you ask them in the survey, how was it? They'd either say like really positive things or really negative things, or stuff that they feel is quite smart, or stuff that they feel is like the right sort of answers. But they're not really saying that emotional feedback, that emotional sort of tie into where they were. Whereas I found that when I'm watching them and their reactions and what they don't do, what they do, sometimes they might be talking to their friend while they're doing it. And they're like, do you know what should I do? And their friend gets involved and stuff. And you're, okay, that's a nugget. That's information. And from that, we also learn what you can just cut, what you can kill, what you can throw away. And again, working with younger developers that time round, it was hard for them to throw things away because they might have spent 2 weeks on something, or they might have really challenged themselves to get something over the line, to understand it. Now I found a way to do that thing I really wanted to do. But actually, when it goes in front of a customer, the customer doesn't care. It's like, I don't care about that. I'm going around that way. I'm not going the route you wanted me to go, even though it was pretty or even though it had good sound effects. And we changed icons like an acorn. We wanted customers to click on an acorn so they can move through and open a door. You find the gold acorn, you work your way around it. But they weren't finding it for sort of various reasons. And we tried all different things. We'd change the size, we'd change this, we'd change that. And it turned out, we changed it from a gold acorn to a green acorn. And they naturally resonated towards it and clicked it. And some of that sort of stuff you don't realize until people do it and you watch them and you look at the analytics that, oh, that's the right way of going. And some of these games we had that we were in development, were really, really good for us as sort of developers, as producers and stuff. We enjoyed it. But for Facebook apps and Facebook games, the audience was completely different. They were playing stuff that was much more casual, much more throwaway. I've got 10 minutes to play this game. If I don't resonate with it, I'm going to throw it away. I'm going to try something else. So looking at the analytics to drive where we're going and where we're not going and be willing to throw it away is a real sort of psychological mindset that is positive. Even in today's game development, it's a really positive way of looking at something. If I spend this much time on something, it doesn't make that thing quality. Time doesn't equate to quality. Time equates to learning and failing and growing, yada, yada. But you could get to the point where you say, I spent all that time and effort on that thing, but we don't need it. I'm going to shelf it or throw it away.
It's that classic Edison quote of, it's like, I've found 100 different ways of not being able to make a light bulb. And the kind of the point of that quote, whether it's, sort of allegorical or whether he really said it or not, is the process of failure is the thing that leads you to the positive outcome.
Yeah.
We have to be able to experiment to get to the thing that is going to work the best. Like the kind of, you're going to love this because I'm going to bring in a game I'm playing as an example.
Nice. Do it.
That's
a good segue in terms of games. Some of the older games in the 90s were just brutal. Dragon's Lair. Do you remember Dragon's Lair? Brutal. Yeah. We had no checkpoints. We had no. You have to start again.
Well, it was an arcade. Was it an arcade game originally?
I can't remember. I just remember it on Amiga. Like you have to press left, right, up or down. That was it. Yeah. But if you press it at the exact right time, it's fine. But if you press it at the wrong time, that's it. You're dead, and you got to start again from the beginning.
If I remember rightly, I think it was an arcade game originally, which meant there weren't going to be any checkpoints anyway. But you're right, generally speaking. Everybody references Dark Souls as the hardest game of modern era, but every game was a Dark Souls game back when we were kids. Yeah. They were all incredibly difficult because there was no, or at least that quality assurance wasn't really a thing at the time. And a tester, a quality assurance person would have been going, people cannot complete this game.
Yeah, it's too difficult. Yeah.
As an aside, you're right. The game pillar behind that game though was it's animated, it's hand drawn animation. It looks absolutely beautiful, and that was the USP. It didn't matter whether it played like an absolute bastard or not, and it did. But the game that I'm thinking about at the moment is actually like brand new, just come out. Is 007 First Light.
Okay. Yeah.
And the reason why I reference this is because what's really interesting about it, I'm very much enjoying the playthrough. Really am and fully engaged. Yep. I would honestly, no offense, Luke, I'd rather be downstairs playing it right now than
none taken. Yeah.
But
I was going to stand you up and play some games actually. I was looking through my Steam library going, oh, wow, I've got so many games I haven't played yet. Is it that good, then?
It's really good, yeah. The reason why I bring it up is it's built off of all of the hard work that IO Interactive have done on the Hitman games.
Yeah, and that engine,
and while it is, I mean this genuinely wholeheartedly, I'm loving this game. It is not without its idiosyncrasies, it's not without its flaws, but it's fantastic. However, it's this kind of like evolutionary step as far as the sort of work that they've done on the Hitman games. And I think, the most recent Hitman trilogy, that franchise is just phenomenal. But again, that was built off of the ones that came before and the ones that came before. If you go back and play the original Hitman now, it is very much like of its time. It is a phenomenal game, but it is incredibly clunky when it gets right down to it. It does not hang together nearly as well as you remember it hanging together.
Nostalgia, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other sort of game that I can kind of bring into this discussion then is GoldenEye, because it has exactly the same problems. It doesn't play very well. It has not aged particularly. It definitely was as like of its time, but everybody still thinks it's the best James Bond game. And it may have been, and it may be that every James Bond game that like then came after it just wasn't actually that good of a game in its own right.
Yeah.
But coming back to 007 First Light, because it was built off all of these successes, and while maybe it doesn't quite live up to the most recent Hitman games, what I'm really excited for is the direction that they take it in next. Because while some stuff has worked brilliantly, some stuff maybe didn't quite work as well, the next one is going to really deliver. They're going to build upon that, and that's so. It's this this is a slightly bigger budget example of what you're talking about, because this is a game that's been in development for years, has probably cost X number of millions of dollars, is backed by Amazon MGM Studios because it's Bond, and has been built by an incredibly talented and incredibly dedicated team in IO Interactive. So it's that. But you're right, when it gets right down to it, first principles is kind of like build it quick, build it to prove the point, and then build it properly.
Yeah. There's a fantastic book called Fail Fast, Fail Often. It's a really good book, and it's for development in general and maybe creativity in general, but it's a really good way of looking at it. And obviously the James Bond example you give there is fail slow, don't fail often. But eventually they're going to learn from that and even. But I'm guessing that internally in development they would have failed fast, fail often as well to get to where they've come from. And I know IO did that with a lot of the Hitman games. They tried a lot of things, they improved a lot of things, and I think we were there for some of it back in the day. So yeah, fail fast, fail often is a sort of motto I live by or try to live by. It's a really good way of looking at things. The word fail has a real stigma attached to it as well. People feel like failure is a bad thing. And failure is a bad thing if you keep doing the same thing. So if I run down the stairs and fall down the stairs doing it the same way every time, then I'm stupid. I should learn from that failure, right? I should work out how to get down the stairs a bit better, or maybe run in a different way. Like you don't keep failing the same way, you learn from it. So not like repeat failing isn't good. But yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah,
and starting small and growing and expanding and stuff like that. I was trying to work on like a sort of an evolution sort of framework, if you like, sort of development from a producer perspective of doing that. Like having because generically you've got like the milestone schedules, and first you do the prototype, and then you do your alphas, your betas, your and I was thinking like agile is a way to iterate, right? So, but the two things kind of clash, and people often want milestones, they want deliverables, they want to sign off. But I was thinking like, is there a way to do that fail fast, fail often, but expand so that you're failing less often over time? And I got to the conclusion visually in my head, it's kind of like the Fibonacci sequence. So you think about the Fibonacci sequence, it starts really small and expands, but over time the numbers get further apart. And that's where it sort of resonated with me. I haven't done much with it since, but that was like the epiphany, like the what do you call it? The Back to the Future, he hits his head on the toilet and he fixes a time machine. Obviously, I haven't thought of a time machine, but the Fibonacci sequence was that moment when I was like, that's it. It's the Fibonacci. It's fail fast, fail often. And then as you get better at it and as you learn from it, you're failing less often, but you're on this spiral. And then when you get to the end of the spiral, you release, and then you do another, you cycle again.
I'm with you. If I remember rightly from, from my very limited exposure to actually like really working officially within like a proper Scrum or Agile environment, you can change the length of the sprints, although I do think that they're supposed to be uniform so that you can build in some level of consistency. However, I'm sure I've seen somewhere a similar kind of idea to this, where what you have is you've got your 2-week or your 1-month sprints, whatever duration you set them to be. But at the same time, you then have a larger sprint that's going across all of those smaller sprints. So that's, I see where you're coming with that. I like the Fibonacci reference as well.
Yeah,
it's like a really
scaled agile
way.
Framework, SAFe, they call that.
Is that's the one where you've got the longer sprints,
and then you've got the bigger sprint that goes on top of the smaller sprints.
Yeah.
But it's similar to that. And if I was to speak to an agile connoisseur now, he'd probably say, no, that's exactly what you want because you. But I'm so used to game development where you've got the milestones of like milestone 1 is this, 2, 3, 4, and then you can have agile inside that. It's like it kind of hits the spot, but doesn't quite hit the spot.
Yeah. So how would it work? So right. So you're building your like. I totally see where you're coming from. That's the great thing about this idea, actually. The explaining it, it's like sprints, but in a Fibonacci sequence. I think it's a really, really good snapshot.
Yeah. At first, it was a snail shell in my head, and then I was like, "What does the snail shell represent?" Ah, it's the Fibonacci sequence.
That's the Fibonacci, right?
Yeah. So like it's like the twos and it's like all the different low numbers and then the bigger numbers. When you get to the 21, you should release.
The best thing about coming up with a new idea is getting to name it. So like,
yeah, I'll call it the Tim's method. There we go. Boom. Stick my name on it.
Stick my fucking name on it.
Stick my fucking name on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that as a working title. I think we can do better, but I won't miss the point.
So comments and suggestions below, please. And don't forget to give this video a hype. Apparently that's a good thing now.
Give it a hype, whatever that means. Lovely. Like, subscribe, hype.
So on that. So you were talking about sprints. So ideally you have sprints that are a specific amount of time. Like you stick to like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever that is, because what you want to do is build up a cadence as part of a team, because you get better at estimating and then you work out what the cadence of a particular team is over time. You see the burn downs going a certain way, and then they give estimates, and their estimates become better and stronger. This is another hot topic for sort of agile as well, is that I'm a strong believer in not converting story points to real time, because as soon as you do that, you might as well use real time. But if I said to you, Matt, how long does it take you to create that bit of code? And you said to me, 2 days, Luke. I'll go, okay, cool. We then go to the next sprint. I'll say, Matt, how long does it take you to do that bit of code there? That's very similar to the last one you did. 2 days, Luke. So you haven't got better at what you're doing. Whereas if I said to you, how many story points is that thing? Well, it's because I don't know this, I don't know this, I don't know this, but I do know this. I'd give it an 8. I'd give it an 8. Okay, cool. And then when you do it the next sprint, I'll say, Matt, we're going to do that same sort of topic again. If you did it again, how many story points? It's definitely 4 or 5. I know everything about it now. So the psychology of real time versus story points is really good, unless you put them together. And as soon as you put them together, you're going to say, well, last time it was 8 and you said that was 2 days. I'm going to stick to the same. I don't want you questioning me. So
obviously I know what story points are, but for anyone that doesn't, like, can you explain what story points
are?
Yeah,
sure. So that's fine. That's a good interview question, Matt. Thanks. So story points are effectively how much effort and how much knowledge do we have to do that thing. So complexity. So if I said to you, Matt, paint that wall behind you, you'd probably be able to say, well, first of all, I'd have to rub it down, and then I'd fill any cracks because I've.
But what about the wall?
Cracks. Yeah, I'd have to fill my crack. And then you'd be able to tell me how much the paint is, and you'd be able to tell me how much the paintbrush is and stuff. And you'd be like, well, with pretty good certainty, I reckon I know how much it'd cost. I reckon I know how long it'd take me to paint it. There's a few risks because the stairs are quite tricky in the house and we've got a bad neighbor or something like that. And then there's your complexities to work out around those things. And you say, it's this many story points, because if I did it again, I reckon I could do it more efficiently because the paint is easy to work with. I've got the same paintbrush. I've done it before very recently. So yada, yada. So that's kind of like the complexity and unknowns, if you like. Yeah. That's probably a good
No, I'm now actually just looking at it thinking
you're looking at your crack.
I do not, just checking out my cracks.
Yeah.
I do not want to paint this room again.
No,
I want to sell the house and leave London. But
okay, cool. Come to Sussex.
Yeah, I might do. That's another conversation altogether.
Sweet. Do that.
All right. So
there was another segue there. I was actually on another segue there. So we were talking about, so one of the this is the last agile point I'll make, and it's a really good one. You might like this. I don't know if we talked about this in the past, but when I did some agile coaching back in the day, one of the things I used to do was I'd tell the class, I want you guys to draw me a house. And I'd say to them, draw me a house. It's got to have 2 windows at the front and a front door. Thanks. I'll come back in a few minutes. And I'd go off deliberately, go and get a coffee, and I'd come back and I'd say, right, okay, thanks everyone. Can you show me your houses? And they'd show me the houses, and I'd rip them apart. And I'd rip them apart and say, well, there's no white picket fence? Why is there not a house? Why is there not a gate on the side? And I'd pick them apart. And the whole point of that exercise is to say, if you don't get your criteria set nice and clear up front, then you haven't got a definition of done or definition of ready. You don't understand what the product owner wants. Therefore, you're just delivering something you think you know. So you've got to go back and ask questions. Where are the windows? Where's the door? And where's the garden? How big is the house? And all these sort of particular questions to know how to move forward. It's a really good exercise to explain the product owner role and how the team should interact with a product owner. And a product owner can be a producer or a project manager. It doesn't matter. It's just a title. But the person that's asking you to do something, make sure you ask the questions back. Otherwise, you're going to deliver something that they think is one thing and you think is something else.
It's sound advice in terms of being given a piece of work to do. I think there's a model, and it's not what I'm particularly familiar with, but I do believe that there is a model called the 5 whys. So whenever anybody asks you to do a piece of work, your default set of questions really should be like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing it? I think there's a...
Have you watched the Simon Sinek video? Start with why.
No, I haven't.
It's amazing. It's really good.
Yeah, no,
it's very simple.
it's
very good.
Start with why is absolutely brilliant. There's you ever played Alan Wake 2?
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
There's a great thing that Saga Anderson does when she's starting an investigation. She refers to this in the game itself. She says, like, I always ask myself, why here? Why now? I was like, that's brilliant. So I've woven that into some leadership stuff that I'm doing.
It works. Start with why. It's such a powerful thing. Hang on, guys. Can we just stop? You wrote down all the tasks. You wrote down all the things we talked about. But can we just find out why we're doing this? What's the reason we're even here? Like, what's the client asked for, etc.
Yeah, if you cannot get a satisfactory answer to that question, I would posit that the person giving you the task or handing you the project hasn't really thought it through at all.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it may be. That.
Yeah. I often push back. Yeah, go on.
I was thinking, like, from the perspective of a sort of a leadership model or a leadership methodology, like, this is the thing I was writing about the other day. Leaders don't assign tasks. Leaders craft a compelling narrative to inspire people to go and do the thing. And so it's it's this, again, comes back to, I've been playing Alan Wake a lot recently. I don't know if you can tell, but if you can craft a compelling narrative and convince people what it is that they're doing and why it's valuable and why they're the hero in the story and what the vision of the future, like that,
and draws them in.
Yeah, it's kind of like 90% of the work of a leader, if you know what I mean. Like, it's this thinking about these things from a visionary perspective. So rather than hovering over the shoulder of a manager or an individual contributor and trying to direct them like a fucking puppet master.
Yeah, these are the talent.
Hire them to do the job.
It's all about giving them. Give them the ammunition, give them the tools, give them what they need, shield them from the shit is the phrase I often use as well. My job is to shield you from everything. My job is to make sure you've got the right process that's right for you to do your best work, not to hold you back, not to stand over you, helicopter parent you, or sort of go for all those horrible things. I need to enable you, really. And like, if you do your best work and you get into the zone and you flow, then brilliant. I'm happy if you're doing your best work. I'm not trying to take credit for what you're doing. That's not my job. I've seen people that have done that in the past. It doesn't work out well, and it's not good.
So
I was going to say something else. There was something in the middle there where I was something in the middle. Start with why. Simon Sinek. It's good to. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. So problem statements. So often people will give you things that need to be done, and I will either go back to them and say, can you tell me why we're doing this? Or I will say to them, what's the problem statement that we're trying to solve here? Because I need to know what the problem statement is. Because what people will often do is say, Luke, can you make sure this thing happens? And I'll say, tell me what the problem statement is rather than telling me how to solve it, because maybe what you're saying to solve it is not the right idea. And I'm a victim to that sometimes. I might think I know the solution, but I have to correct myself and say, hang on, let me go back to the problem statement. It feels like this is happening because of this and this and this. how can we solve it? Tell me how we can solve it. And if you don't know, then maybe try something and then come back to me, or come back as a demo and go through it in general. Problem statements are really, really useful. And it forces people to think about why you're here, what the problem is, all the sort of that mindset, as opposed to go and make that wall pink. Why do you need the wall pink, Matt? Well, because the sun doesn't hit it properly. Okay, should we just fix the blind? Ah, yeah. That's some shit scenario, but you get my drift. It's like I'm coming up with a solution for you, whereas actually the problem is much simpler.
Yeah. It's uncanny, because I was actually working with somebody today on a very similar problem, where they were talking about their performance in an interview situation, and they were talking about the fact that they don't think that they get the right clarity from the interviewers in the interview situation about the job. And we were talking about it from this perspective of, like, when you're hiring someone, when you're interviewing somebody, it is all about, this company has a problem and you have a solution to that problem.
Yeah.
But the lie of communication means that ultimately, with a problem that they think they have, or that they are suggesting they have through the job description and the adverts and so on, that might not really be the problem that they have. So actually having a really clear idea of that when the interview process starts. And so what we were talking about there in that particular instance was that they felt that they didn't have the agency to start an interview as the interviewee, going in and going, I would like you to explain exactly what it is that the problem is and exactly what you're looking for as far as a solution is concerned. And then I'll be able to talk much more clearly,
that works,
much more concisely about whether I think I'm the right person for that particular job. And so we came up with this. We came up with this process for them to then go into this situation and feel much more comfortable and much more confident.
That's a good way of doing it. And I've had interviews like that in the past where they've told you exactly what the role is and their problem statement is, and as soon as you're like that, you're like, okay, cool. I could just riff now. We could just go through it, and as long as it's a conversation and it doesn't feel like a grilling, it's fine. So I've had interviews where it feels like they're just asking questions, they're working from the hymn sheet, rather than trying to solve something with the interview, which is what it should be. The best sort of very open and candid interview I ever had was with a guy called Carl Jeffries, who's an industry veteran, and he just said, I'm starting a studio, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. This is happening. These are the problems. These are the risks. No one wants me to do this. Can you come and help, Luke? Like, yeah, I know you've not done it before, Luke, but this. Can you handle it? Yeah, let's make it work. My attitude is just get stuck in. Brilliant. That's what I want to hear, Luke. I'm seeing a couple of other people this week. I'll let you know how it goes. It's just like, blah, 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 blah. But you can tell when someone has really been there and done it. They've got the confidence to be able to tell how you react to that question. Can you handle it, Luke? And then he's listening. He's listening to see how I react to that. If I stuttered, if I ummed and ahed, he'd be like, okay, I don't think Luke's ready for this. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Make it work.
There's a friend of mine went for an interview at Lego, and they said it was one of the best interviews they'd been to, because the guy came in, the interviewer came in and went, okay, so this is a little bit about me. I don't really need to tell you about Lego. You probably know about us. And I just want you to ask me all the questions, like exactly what is on your mind. And so the interview was them asking him all the questions about the job, about Lego, about himself, like whatever. And it's one of those interviews that you hear of and go, I want to do that.
Really good idea.
I want to interview like that. Yeah.
I saw a reaction to a rejection email the other day that was good. It was basically like someone sent a rejection email and they said, I hear your rejection, but I don't accept it. Can you tell me these things? And they basically interviewed them from the reaction interview, from the rejection email.
Nice.
That was interesting. I don't think it went anywhere, but it was funny to read.
Yeah. So bringing it back to the original point, though, which is like when to stick and when to twist, like what really is the answer there from a games production point of view?
Yeah, I think you've got to look at the end target. So we've talked in the past about having your end goals and work your way backwards. So a backwards plan is really, really important, and knowing how much wiggle room you've got between each of the sort of deliverables and having sort of contingency there to play around with is really useful. And knowing when to cut something sometimes can be like an emotional feeling, like a feeling of everyone's having trouble with this mechanic. We all like this mechanic, but how long are we going to spend trying to make it work? Or do we go back to something more simple? Or do we do this? Or do we do that? What are the options we've got, and how does it weigh up cost and time and effort? And how does it make you feel? Like if you're really passionate about this feature and you feel like it's almost there, then I'd rather give you the ammunition to try and do it. But there will be a cutoff date. There will be a point where we say enough is enough. We need to revert, or we need to pivot. And that also comes down to how much trust you put in the team. So if you give the team the right sort of authority and accountability, you'll end up getting the best work out of them. So there will be times where a team member says, I'm really passionate about this thing, Luke. Can you just give me a couple more days on it? Yeah. I'd rather hear that than someone saying, I've done everything I can, Luke. You're not going to want me to work anymore on it. Tell me what you want me to do. And it's soul destroying when you hear someone saying, tell me what you want me to do. I want you to care. I want you to be compassionate. I want you to be ambitious. I want you to challenge everything. I want you to talk to other team members about finding a way of doing it. Don't want you to just come to me. I want you to work around me. I want you to think Luke doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm going to prove him wrong. Fine, do that. I'd rather that than someone giving up. So yeah, just I know it's a consultant answer, but it depends. There's the consultant answer. It's the classic consultant answer.
There was we're rewatching Ted Lasso at the moment, and there was a great line in an episode we watched last night, which was like, I will take the fact that you hate me because I thought you were indifferent. And
yeah,
I would rather that you felt something. Yeah,
yeah. I'd rather that. Yeah. It's nothing worse than someone feeling indifferent about you. Yeah.
I was chatting with Pete earlier today, and he said that I think about that a lot. I'd rather make a bad game than a mediocre game.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. How do you? I'll just do one last question for you. That occurred to me. One last job interview question. How do you sell the idea to a stakeholder to keep going, even if it seems like it's the wrong thing to do? How do you sell, if you know in your heart of hearts that continuing down this path is the right thing to do, even if you can't tangibly prove it? It's a gut feel. How do you sell a gut feel to upper management?
It's tricky. You have to try and win along the route to get there. So that when you get to that point where you're saying, "Trust me, bro," without any sort of data, like it's bro science. When you get to that point, you've got to have them already trusting you. Like you've fit all the deadlines. You've had really clean, nice and tidy meetings. Everyone knows what they're doing, where they're heading. Everything's on budget. And then there's one point where you say, this needs to go in a different way than we're planning. Trust me, bro. I wouldn't say those exact words, but you get me. It's that you have to build up that level of trust to be able to do that. You couldn't do it from day one where you say, we're going to go off piste. Well, hang on, you're not going off piste. Who is this guy? Luke, who are you? You're fired. Like you need to kind of find that sort of that rhythm, if you like, to start with. Or build it in. So build it in is a good way of doing it. So if you say that every sprint we're going to have an amount of story points where we're going to try some shit that might fail, that's the amount of story points we've got for that. And it could be an audio thing, it could be a gameplay thing, it could be engineering thing, it could be anything. Preferably not DevOps, like, we're going to try a new server. Please don't do that. But yeah, just allowing that sort of fun, allowing that sort of deliberate rhythm to change and pivot, I think is really important. But it goes back to the sort of build trust in teams and build that level of authority. And when I say authority, I mean like delegate the authority. So I don't want to have the authority for everything. I want to be able to say to you, Matt, you're the lead artist. Can you work with the team to work out the best way of doing it? I don't want to pretend I'm an artist. I don't want to pretend. I want you to have the delegated authority to go off and work that out and then come back to me and say, Luke, forget the art style, forget the art guide. This is how long it's going to take. This is the problem. This is the challenge. These are the people. This is the why. I think we should do this. Okay, cool. Go ahead. I don't know if I've shared the submarine commander video with you. It's very, very powerful. And it can be used in game development, can be used in training, can be used in agile coaching. It's really, really powerful. And if you watch the first few minutes, that's enough as well. You don't even need to watch the whole thing. You don't need to read the book. And sorry, author, I don't think you should read the whole book. It's padded beyond belief. The video is great. Yeah, I have read the book and I've listened to the audiobook just to make it soak in. But
blimey, yeah. That's commitment to a
padding.
a 5-minute video.
Yeah.
If I remember, I will put the video somewhere in the show notes
Down below.
so that people can access it. I'm not going to put it. I'm not going
Are
to
you
put
going to
a
put it
link
up here?
here.
You put it up here. Well, if we point in all directions, you're going to put it somewhere, right?
I'll put it in the show notes. I'm not going to put it on screen.
Oh, okay, fine. It's quite easy. I can show you how.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. We're just gonna do. Yeah. Anything else on that topic before we wrap up?
No, I think that's a good sort of crunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Just to say the crunch name. Yeah, I think we've put enough in that. Yeah.
That's a good paid overtime of stuff.
Yeah.
Paid, reasonably implemented overtime.
The only other thing is that if you do like things like game jams or you do social gatherings with the team and stuff like that, that really helps people come up with ideas, because you find down the pub a lot of developers are talking about work. They're talking about how to fix something, and then they sleep on that thing, and then the next day they get up and they go, that's it, and they solve it. And sometimes that's really useful and it's really helpful. I know Tash probably doesn't appreciate that, but I think it's really powerful. I think it's really good. And it happens. Most game development happens like that. And I'd probably argue that the project development in general works like that as well. Like if you're an artist trying to solve things, or if you're an audio engineer or a music composer, the things that you challenge with often come out of chatting to people, or you sleep and it comes to you in the morning, or you have a few beers too many and you go, that's what it is. Yeah.
I figured it out.
I figured it out after a whiskey. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Lou. And thanks to Tasha, even though she's not here.
Thanks,
Good
Tash.
luck
Good
with
luck.
the competition. And thank you, our glorious listener, for watching or listening or ingesting this content in some way, shape, or form. It is much appreciated. If you have any comments or questions or suggestions or just abuse, if you just
anything you've got to say about us and what we're doing is appreciated, because there's no such thing as bad PR, it's just PR.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's gameprodpod@proton.me, or you can reach us on some kind of social media. I'll post that
Find it
somewhere.
Yeah.
Just find it.
Like the Field of Dreams. Find it when we come.
just at us and we will come.
Yes. And give us the hype. We want hype. Don't know what it means, but give us some hype. Hype.
Hype. All right.
Do it. See ya. Bye.
Bye.